My name is Varun Karnanantham. I'm here from Fidesz Mortgages, principal broker. I'm here with Pat from Repliers. Nice to meet you, Pat.
Nice to meet you.
Perfect. Let me introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Pat. I'm the co-founder of a company called Repliers, and we specialize in real estate data. So we help companies take real estate data, which is something that's very difficult to do, and use it in the technology that they're building.
So if I'm a real estate agent, I never heard about it, what does exactly do to me? Like, I'm sure a lot of audience are listening to this. They probably never heard of it, or someone maybe family. So what does it exactly mean to me?
Yeah. So where we differ from other industry vendors, you might go to them. They might offer real estate websites or real estate marketing or something very specific that you subscribe to. Where we differ is that everybody that's working with us is building something themselves.
Got it.
They've kind of crossed this bridge and they're saying, you know what, I don't want to buy that. It doesn't, do exactly what I need it to, or it doesn't look exactly the way I want it to. I'm going to build this myself. So they come to us and we basically handle the data component for them. So it's just much easier for them to build their product.
So when you may say data, is only the MLS data?
So MLS data and other data sets as well. So like recently we announced a partnership with a company called LiveBy, and LiveBy brings in adjacent data. So like boundaries, demographics, school data, and other stuff that you can't get from the MLS.
Got it. So who will be the target audience? It will be someone like a brand new realtor, so building the website, or it's a team, like who will be the best fit for this, or pretty much everyone like who needs to have a...
Yeah, so we see solo agents that'll use this technology. We see teams, like we get a lot of traction from teams because they're, trying to create value for the agents that are on their teams, generate leads, do things like that. We also see brokerages. We see brokerages that are in a single market. We see brokerages that are in many markets, like across the country, for example. So all shapes and sizes.
Perfect. And is it going to be a personalized website?
Well, it's up to them, really. I mean, some of them are building websites, some of them are building apps, some of them are building like CRMs or back office tools. It's just really up to them, like whatever it is that they're
whatever the end user they want to work with it.
That's right.
And this is somewhat related to the lead generation as well. If someone come to the website.
Yeah, like I mean, most agents, what they have in common is that they want to grow their businesses. So that starts with lead gen. So they, some agents don't have an audience, so they got to build that audience. How are they going to get that audience? Some of them go to social media. Some of them will go to, build their own websites or their own apps or whatever it is that they have to do digitally to attract attention and build their list.
And so what I understand is that pretty much everything is funneling to their website and it goes into the CRM at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right. Most agents are generating leads and they're putting them into their CRM. That's right.
How this is change in AI, how the AI is playing a part of the replies?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's mostly with our features, right? So, a few years ago, there was a lot of AI features that didn't exist, and today they exist. So these are like very practical features, like things like getting estimates on properties, for example. Those are AI-driven features. Being able to search images or being able to search in conversation. Like, so instead of saying, selecting 4 beds, here's my price range, like actually just typing it or speaking into a microphone and saying, here's what I'm looking for, and then being able to conduct a search that way. So AI has made a lot possible.
It's become more user-friendly and easy to use as well.
That's right. Yeah.
And where do you see the shift of this is going to be in next 3, 4, 5 years from now? The AI.
Yeah, so I think that AI agents are going to play a big role in real estate, just like any other service industry. So imagine, an AI agent is basically an employee. That's the way people have to look at it. It's an employee. It's your subordinate. You give it a task. It's going to go out and carry out that task for you, right? So a lot of what real estate agents do involves a lot of like sort of routine tasks that they have to carry out on a daily basis, or maybe they have administrators that do certain things for them, whether it's, follow up or booking showings or, whatever it is. These tasks are going to start to be delegated to these AI agents that are basically trained to do specific things.
And how replies could be a part of that?
Good question. So all of these interactions, what they all have in common is that they need data, right? So like if your AI agent's filling out a form for you, like whether it's an offer presentation or, something like that, or maybe it's a listing presentation, or maybe it's some marketing material. At some point, this AI agent's going to say, okay, I need access to the data from that listing, or I need to be able to search listings, or I need to be able to perform some function that the agent or their administrator would normally have to do by logging into their MLS. So that's where Repliers comes in. So we built the tools that the AI agents can talk to, which we call APIs, MCP servers, those types of things. So they could basically tap into the data from the MLS very easily and perform the tasks that they have to perform.
So you pretty much run the back end for the agents who delivers on the front end.
That's right. Yeah, that's actually a perfect way to describe it. We are the back end, and they're building their own front end.
And it's very transformational because we just had a conversation with Daniel. He's building the Homey. That's exactly what it does. And now I can kind of having the ecosystem where it's coming from you guys, providing the back end for them to make this more seamless for them.
That's right. Yeah.
And where you see this is going to be going in about 5 years from now, in terms of the whole transition from AI to agents who's using this technology, and it's going to be completely remotely run by the AI, or you think it's going to be remove the human part of it?
I think so. Like, I mean, if you look at what's happening with technology, like Salesforce, massive company, just announced that they're going completely headless, right? So that means that, you still do, but what they imagine is a future where you don't log into Salesforce anymore. Some AI is logging into Salesforce on your behalf. So that user interface that people use every day is becoming less and less valuable to them. And I think if you look at an agent, like I spent some time with an agent recently, and we were out for dinner, and he got a phone call and he had to take out his laptop, right? This big laptop, stick it on the dinner table, flip it open. And he had like all these different softwares open in front of him. And these are things that today, most of them aren't even mobile friendly. So he couldn't even use his phone to do this stuff, right? He had to flip this laptop open. So that's an example of what I mean by a user interface, right? Like, so you've got all these different things that you have to log into every day. Now imagine a day where you don't have to log into those things anymore.
And you'll be prompted by someone else.
That's right. You've told your AI agents, hey, you do this and do it every day on a daily basis. And it's going to, or you just speak into your phone and you say, hey, I just got this offer, do this for me. And then it's going to go away and do it for you. That's what the future is going to be like. And I actually don't think it's 5 years from now. I think it's probably more like 2 years from now.
Wow, that's a very short time period for a change.
Yeah.
And what is your thoughts on the online leads? Because when someone is running a website, there's a connection between at the end of the day, we're in a lead generation business.
Yep.
So how you see the workflow of the online leads comes in, how your Repliers is going to help the agents to navigate through and filter the systems.
Yep. I've spent a lot of time working with teams over the years, and one of my biggest frustrations was that they didn't respond fast enough. So I think that's like the first place I would apply AI is if I was in lead gen. It's like speed of lead is very important. So, there's some math. I don't know exactly what it is, but like if you get back to a lead within 20 seconds, your chances of converting that lead improve by 75% or something like that. Even if you wait 2 minutes, they've become distracted. I mean, people are so busy these days. So I think having AI make sort of the first interaction with your lead, I don't know for like me personally, like if I was transacting, if I was buying a house and I reached out to an agent and I was just talking to a bot, I don't think I would really appreciate that, right? But if the bot, just sort of answered some of my questions before, an agent could get in contact with me, I think that would be something that I would be open to. Like, I mean, especially because AI can do a better job of things than humans can. Like, so if I'm going to book an appointment with you, I'd rather do it through AI because I'm going to get an appointment right away rather than wait for you to get back to me.
It's more of a scrubbing in my opinion.
Yeah, that's right.
And the speed is as a single agent, I don't think so. It's very feasible for them to respond in a 10 second.
That's right. Yeah, it's impossible. Yeah.
And the scrubbing is actually make the agents to be more productive, and also they can have a better service. At the end of the day, you are weeding out the leads that's not going to get anywhere.
Yep.
So going to the Rogers phone or the Bell line and get your question answered when the rep picks up the phone, they know exactly what you want to deal with.
Yeah, and we use AI for the same thing for lead qualification, and it works really well. It'll tell us is this a qualified lead? Like we kind of know before we contact somebody whether or not we should give them a lot of time, or we should just, give them some resources for them to read up on. We could kind of figure out what stage they're in. So I think, yeah, that's definitely the first place I would apply it.
And when you see this, like you see the inside sales getting out of the way, like do we feel like we may not have a need for inside sales associates in the future?
Oh, definitely not. Because a lot of what they do is can be automated for
Can
sure.
be automated. I see actually that's work out to be more productive as well, because I feel like a lot of real estate agents, they get stuck with the lead management and they are having someone's calling and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I think this scrubbing tool will become very part of this as well. Everyone talks about technology, so we want to use technology to be more productive. How can you feel AI actually help realtors to close more deals beside the lead scrubbing part, or maybe to the point it can become a virtual assistant? Beside that, where you see AI can help realtors be more productive and close more deals. One thing I can understand is valuing time. It can buy time, a lot of administrative tasks away.
Yeah, I think hooking it into certain workflows is the obvious place, right? So I mentioned like what's my home worth or property estimates. That's an AI driven feature. Enrolling your customer. So like if you have a database of leads and you know where they live, you could basically enroll them in a what's my home worth monthly newsletter, right? So they're going to get the value of their home. And when they click on it, it's going to, something's going to open up and present them with like a CMA essentially. So that's an example of an application of AI that's going to help you close more leads because you're dripping them relevant content every month. That's AI driven content. We see like 50% plus click through rates on those types of emails. So, again, something that wasn't possible before because the technology wasn't available. That's possible today, and I think AI in that workflow in sort of like a conversational workflow can help identify if somebody is serious and if the agent should pay special attention to that person.
Tech is a very big space, and being a end user realtor, a lot of people don't understand. What is the biggest mistake either individual real estate agent or a brokerage or a team they make, the biggest mistake they make in a tech space?
Okay, there's a few. So the first one that sticks out to me is that they don't give things enough time.
They want everything right away.
Yeah, they'll try something for a few months. If they don't get a return on it, they just dismiss it and they get rid of it. So like, it's just like starting a business. Like I know I've started several businesses. Like if you give up after 3 months,
I mean,
you're gonna start 100 businesses. You're never gonna get anywhere, right? So you got to give things, years. And I think a lot of agents are guilty of sort of running their businesses like sports teams.
Yep.
Just quick changes all the time and just very, very quick to dismiss something. And I think they just need to give things more time.
they want results quickly.
Yeah, that's right. They want, and I understand it's a seasonal business and, like you might invest in a certain season. And if things don't work out, you might turn things off. But the teams that I do see that are successful with tech, this is, I guess, the second biggest mistake that they make is they don't budget properly, right? So they look at what's this going to cost me for a couple months or for a few months, but you should really be looking at your tech roadmap and be budgeting for years, right? And I think if you have that understanding and you set that expectation, you'll be more patient with the results as well. And then the other big one, so there's three here, is that everybody seems to set the wrong expectation in terms of what they're going to get out of their tech. So everybody wants to build the next unicorn, which is great. But the reality is that there's not going to be that many unicorns. So I think where the real opportunity in tech is when you take an established business, like an established agent team or brokerage, and you combine that with good tech. So that's where we've seen success is where it's like, okay, I already have a good business and I just want to add good tech to it to give my customers a better experience. But when you go out and you say, I'm going to build this, and because I have this amazing thing, that's all I need. Yeah. That's usually where things don't work out. And if I could add one more, it would be that you've got to spend money marketing the tech after. Like, so a lot of people think they're just going to build the tech, and just put it out there in the wild and it's going to be successful. You have to spend a lot of money to get people to use that tech.
And also, you need to be adaptive to the changes as well, right?
Yeah.
As a vendor, and also the consumer need to adapt to the tech space as well.
Yeah, that's right. The trends, the tech is changing all the time, and you have to adapt with the changes. And we help there as well, because we're constantly innovating and releasing new features and doing all the hard engineering work, so that, you know, if you want to implement a new feature that we're working on, like you said earlier, it's just a front end thing.
So if I'm a real estate agent who's listening to this, Pat, where my head is going is how I can use Repliers to grow my business. So what would be the 3 things you can leave? Either it could be individual agent, or it could be a team, or it could be a brokerage, where they can come to you guys and say, this is going to really help me to take my business to the next level. What value you can add to them?
Yeah, so I think like so we're not a marketing company.
Yeah.
Right. So
you're a tech company.
We're a tech company, and we're the foundational layer. So, you know, imagine if you have an idea, you come to us, and we make that idea 90% easier for you to execute. I think that's really where our value is. So if you go at it on your own, it's just going to be a lot of work, and that work is going to translate to costs, and that's going to distract you from doing what you actually want to do. And like what you don't see, it's sort of like the tip of the iceberg analogy, right? You don't see what's underneath the surface, but what's underneath the surface, as it relates to like real estate data, is a lot of work that most people aren't prepared for, and they end up hiring, you know, maybe some resources that are not experienced, and they underestimate how much work has to be done there, and then that translates to a bad experience, because they've got you know, data that's like not working properly, or they might see like a listing is supposed to be sold, but it's still active, and then consumers lose trust in what they're building.
Correct. What are the 3 things that will be outcome of they come to you? Like what the biggest change they will have to their business by working with the Repliers as a realtor?
Yeah. So time to market, right? So like you come to me and you say, hey, you know, we've got this idea and we want to build it. You're going to get it to market way sooner if you work with us. And that's going to translate to less costs.
Because you already have an infrastructure in place.
That's right. The infrastructure is in place. You don't have to rebuild it yourself. So time to market costs, less complexity, right? So you're not spending a lot of time, like, you know, draining your brain trying to figure out all this stuff that we've already done for you in the background.
Perfect. So the other thing, Pat, when you are building a tech as a realtor, as a brokerage, compliance is the biggest part. And how Repliers works on the back end, so you don't need to go and reinvent the wheel to be compliant of putting something off the shelf. I'm sure you probably have that down pat. How you can you comment on that?
Yeah, so there's a few things that we help with compliance. The first one is the actual licensing process. So you know, you might not be sure, like if you're building some technology, you might not be sure how to go about it from a licensing perspective. So we'll take ownership of that for you. We'll submit the agreements with the MLSs. We'll guide you through that process. The other thing is that when you're building your solution, you can work with us to understand display compliance. So a lot of people that are building tech, they get, you know, compliance notices from the MLSs after, because they, you know, don't mention their brokerage, for example, or they display a listing without, you know, disclosing who the listing brokerage is, or they display sold data without a login requirement. So like all of those types of things we can guide you through.
That's keep you away from RICO.
That's right. Yeah.
And some of the companies that you work with, like, do you mind like sharing the companies that you guys have helped them to build it?
Yeah. So I mean, by default, everybody that we work with, we're under confidentiality.
Okay,
but some of our, you know, good customers have allowed us to talk about our working relationship. So this is public knowledge. If you go on our website, you can see some of the companies we work with. Some of the notable ones would be like condos.ca. Like, so they're a top 5 portal in the country.
Got it.
Buy.ca is another one. Sotheby's Canada, Pine, Honest Door, Valerie. A lot of Wahi is another great real estate company that we work with. So a lot of like the tech forward brokerages.
And these are like a big tech guys in the game.
Yes. Yeah.
Like when someone watching this as a realtor is not like a regular mom and pop shop setting up a website. If you had to differentiate from setting up a website for someone who's looking at it and no idea, how would you differentiate those 2 things? We don't want someone to say, I want a website, reach out to Repliers? Like, how do you differentiate yourself from regular website building companies?
Yeah. So like, I think like the best way to look at it is we don't build the website. You do. We just help with the data infrastructure to make your life easier, right? So you're doing the build. You have the product vision. You have the development team. Maybe it's you that's doing it yourself these days with all the AI assisted coding that's tools that are available. It's actually like we're seeing a huge surge in do-it-yourself agents that are building their own tech. But like really the difference between using us and going with an industry vendor is that we don't provide the website to you or the app or whatever it is. You're doing that yourself.
Got it. What does a future real estate team looks like in 5 years from now?
I think it's going to be a lot leaner because AI is probably going to assist with a lot of the things that they do. I think the future team is going to be much more productive, right? Because agents hopefully are going to be able to leverage a lot of this technology and just get more output or scale themselves, which is a difficult thing to do if you're an agent, right? Because you're
caught up with the day-to-day operation.
You're on the road. You can only be in so many places at the same time. So I think your average agent's output is going to be higher than it is today, and perhaps we're probably going to see less agents than we do today because it's going to be harder to compete.
So you feel like a number of agents will be dropped significantly?
Not because of AI. I think it's not. I don't think that AI is going to replace agents. But what I do think is it's going to make agents that adopt AI, and this is like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're not leveraging AI, you're basically losing your competitive advantage, right? So imagine, AI, again, I made the analogy to AI being your employee. So imagine you have a competitor that is employing like one AI agent every week to do stuff for them, right? And so in a year, they've got 50 people working for them.
Yeah.
And you haven't taken advantage of that technology. So you're
compete.
How do you compete? You're at a disadvantage. They have 50 employees. You don't, you haven't even ventured there. So
by the time you build up, you will be.
That's right.
The competition will be way ahead of the game.
That's right. And I think, and I think naturally, like the newer, savvier agents are probably going to gain some more market share because of that.
What is the biggest tech opportunity the most agents are ignoring right now? Like what's in front of them is cost effective. They can take the business to the next level, but oversight.
I think it goes back to what I was saying before. So like what I know about agents is that they generally have a frustration with dealing with vendors, freelancers, developers. Like they rely on them, graphic designers, like they have this network of people that they rely on to do everything that they've got to do. So I think the biggest opportunity for them is to kind of take matters into their own hands, leverage the AI, build the stuff yourself.
Then you're not dependent on anyone. You're more efficient.
You can get something done in an hour that you might, have to wait 2 weeks for or 3 weeks for. And so I think that's what they should all kind of get their feet wet in.
And I think that's why they are not doing it right now. Do you think they're not willing to adapt to the changes?
I think maybe a lot of them aren't even aware that this technology exists, right? We're tech people, so we're very aware of like everything that's going on. And we talk to agents and we show them this stuff from time to time, and their eyes just open up like they've never heard of Lovable or Replit or Agent 44 or any of the. Have you ever heard of any?
No
of these
idea.
companies?
Yeah. What are these technology companies? What they do exactly?
So basically, they're vibe coding tools, and you go in there and you just describe in plain language what it is that you want to build, and they go out and build it for you, right? So that's what you would normally say to somebody. And then they would take what you said and then they would go and build it and come back to you. But the difference is you're getting this
communication barrier.
Yeah. And you could do some pretty amazing stuff in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. In fact, I released a video about how you could build a real estate website in 15 minutes using Replit a few weeks ago. And I walk people through it step by step. So it's pretty cool.
And you think this will be going to become more normal, or people who can understand this technology, they're going to be ahead of the curve and they're going to streamline the business to be more efficient, in my opinion?
Yeah, I think you have to train yourself on this technology. I think if you're not, again, you're at a significant disadvantage. Your competitors are moving way faster than you for less money. You really have to get yourself up to speed on this stuff.
So you work in a biggest market area, North America, Europe. Are you guys working in Europe as well, or mainly not?
Our focus is here in North America.
Where you think more adaptability, like Canadian market versus US market, where you see more of the shifting happening sooner than later?
It's not really about Canada and the US. It's more about specific cities, right? So Toronto's a hotbed for real estate tech, but there are other markets that we're seeing heating up, like really fast, like the Austin market, for example, the Houston market. We just actually signed an official partnership and announced an official partnership with the Houston Association of Realtors, which is going to give us, get us in front of a lot of their members. The places that you would expect that are more, sort of tech forward, like even, Seattle is another market where we see a lot of innovation. So there are a lot of markets, I think, that are less indie than these markets. And when I say that, I mean, there's like, smaller brokerages that are trying to use tech to grow their businesses. But I think what's interesting, I mean, we operate in over 100 markets across,
North America.
in North America. And we see that some markets we're not getting any traction in. And I think over time, we'll start to see that they're going to start to model after some of these other markets.
Why do you think that's a big spread? Some markets are very adaptive and some markets are not. Is a mindset, is the environment, like what's stopping them from getting, because if you're seeing huge success in one part of the city and the other part is not, what can you think of as a reason?
I think it's agents. What I've seen with agents is that they model success. So if you have a few indie successes in certain markets, I think that encourages a lot of agents to do the same, to try to accomplish the same, to build, the next unicorn. And in some other cities, you might have just incumbents. So for example, like Zillow or Redfin, or like one of those massive brokerages. And maybe agents look at that and they're like, that's just like not achievable, right? In the Toronto market, you have, companies like condos.ca or House Sigma or, buy.ca, and they're putting a dent in things. And when you look at that, you're like, oh, I could do that too. So, and I think it's also just the general culture of the market. Like some markets are more tech forward than others.
Yeah, I think that's what I think the environment does matter as well. What is the one thing is most important, the clients are looking at the realtor that didn't even bother? So as a realtor, like as a client, the expectation from the realtor that is so impactful right now, but it didn't matter 5 years back.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I've made analogies to, like going to see your dentist or going to see your doctor. Like what makes a good doctor or a good dentist? It's not just about the healthcare that they're giving you. It's about the whole experience. Like, can you, schedule an appointment online? Do they send you reminders? Like all those little things sort of contribute to what people would write a Google review about. And I think the same goes with agents. Like it's more than just being really good at your job. It's about the whole experience that you provide your customer. And I think that the client is probably setting the bar a bit higher for agents now. They expect the agent to be armed with really good technology that isn't. And when I say really good technology, like it isn't. It works. It's reliable. They feel like I don't have to use anybody else's technology because this agent's putting good tech in front of me already.
And that's also become more low. It's builds a brand reputation, the loyalty as well. Like even the mortgage space, like we are well driven on the technology, seamless application to the mobile app. So everything is one spot. So we don't, like as to your point, we don't want the client to go and look at the bank's website.
Yeah.
That's why you are dropping the service level to the clients as well. Like even in our world, it has become so much relatable to the client, the technology.
Yeah, exactly. And you nailed it. I mean, it's a brand impression. Do you want it to be a good brand impression or a bad brand impression?
So Pat, I'm sure hundreds of realtors are listening to this and they're probably pumped up and they want to see how they can help, how Repliers can help to grow their business and their brand and their tech, their compliance, you name it. What's the best way to get hold of Repliers or get hold of you?
Go to repliers.com. And we have like a bunch of different channels that you can use to reach out to us. We're on LinkedIn, we're on, YouTube. We have a live chat that you can engage us with. That's probably the best way to get in touch with us.
Perfect. Pat, thanks again for being here. I'm looking forward to see what the next 5 years is going to look like.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.